I might be 40, but I'm just beginning to blossom. Hi, my name is Vicky Pisano, and this is my journey into lifelong learning with Azusa Pacific University. When I began this journey years ago, I wasn't sure exactly which direction I was going in. I had decided to go back to school and obtain my bachelor's degree in human development after I had my youngest child. My sister-in-law had completed her bachelor's degree and went on to obtain her teaching credential and master's degree from APU and highly recommended the program. I went to an informational meeting, and within a week I began my journey, and the seed of education was planted. Within a week's time, I found myself in class with people who carried Christian morals, valued education, became lifelong friends, and an excellent support for the next 18 months and beyond. APU helped me grow academically, professionally, as well as spiritually. I learned to reflect on my own experiences as a student. This helped me become the teacher I am today. Every class I took with APU was applicable to the profession and provided me with strategies I could immediately implement in the classroom. During my journey, I, along with my family, became more involved with our faith. We became members of a local church, and both of my children were baptized. Nothing is greater than the glory of God. APU has strengthened me as well as my family, and I am forever grateful I chose APU. After obtaining my bachelor's degree, I knew the roots had set in, and I found myself wanting to be nourished. I decided to go into the Teaching Credential Master's Degree program. It was brought to my attention that Azusa had a new program in digital technology. Although the title was intimidating and my computer knowledge was lacking, I was drawn to the idea of keeping up with the times and becoming an effective teacher of today's society. The professors were awesome and provided me with step-by-step directions that provided me with opportunities to immediately implement digital technology within the classroom. Academically, I found that education took on a whole new meaning for me than ever before. I found myself striving to compete with myself. I finally took pride in my education and found that my study habits increased and that education for once in my life became a product of what I was learning versus learning through memorization. Once I was able to produce a product of learning, it became a part of me and a representation of who I am and what I value. Professionally, this program has helped me build confidence in myself and the use of technology. I have learned to trust technology more, and am encouraged to use it in a more advanced way than ever before. Now I'm able to develop my own webpage to share ideas, thoughts, and family photos with my friends and family. I also enjoy making movies and podcasts with my children to document family memories. The digital program offered me valuable resources to use within the classroom that are not only hands-on for me, but hands-on for my students as well. I find that completing an assignment for the program is better served as building a lesson for my students. This encourages me to go above and beyond the call of duty, as I take time to add details to appropriately teach a lesson. I am also thinking of digital technologies in ways to enhance my classroom by making the homeschool connections. By doing so, I'm able to provide my parents and families with a posting of my lesson plans through my webpage. I can also show them the literature selections, as well as song selections that we're doing for that day or the week. I also made a podcast blog where I can communicate with my parents and what we're doing in the classroom. I can also provide my families with valuable resources to use at home to enhance what we're learning in the classroom. Education has taken on a whole new light in learning digital technology and how it can be utilized within the classroom. One of the things that I was able to do from my learning experience with APU was I did a PowerPoint presentation on Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. In my classes, I also learned to use Skype when collaborating with colleagues in small and large groups. I also learned to use Photo Story 3 when building a story to enhance literature within the classroom. And I made a HyperQuest instead of a WebQuest using HyperStudio that also incorporated a lesson that was to be utilized at home as a resource for an activity we were doing in class. The name of my unit is Can You Name the Parts of a Plant? I decided that because I had done so much growing at Azusa Pacific University, I thought it would be a good unit to work on it within the classroom. The California state standards that are addressed in life science is that different types of plants and animals inhabit the earth. Students know how to observe and describe similarities and differences in the appearance of plants, and students know how to identify the stems, leaves, and roots of plants. For the California State Standards for Investigation and Experimentation, its scientific progress is made by asking meaningful questions and conducting careful investigations. Students will communicate observations orally and through drawings. The NETS for a Student for Creativity and Innovation. The students will be able to create an original work as they go to shepherdssoftware.com and make their own spring flower pictures. They'll also be able to simulate the growing system of a plant as they need to add water and heat and watch it grow. They'll also be able to communicate and collaborate by using Kidspiration. They'll be able to produce original works. They'll exhibit a positive attitude when learning new technology. They'll demonstrate a responsibility for lifelong learning. And they can transfer their current knowledge of learning of how a plant grows into new technologies. The students will be engaged in the lesson as they are able to plant seeds and observe the germination process of growing a plant. They'll also be going on nature walks within the school site as well as the park located behind the school, and they'll be able to document their findings using paper and art materials. The students will also be engaged in learning the parts of a plant as they use a flower puzzle to identify the stem, the leaves, and the flower, and the roots of a plant. Literature is a good way to connect learning. Students will be experiencing the following stories: Growing Vegetable Soup, written and illustrated by Louisa Ellert, and Planting a Rainbow by Lois Ellert and Rain, as well as we will be making our own book, a class book for the unit. Music and Movement by Dr. Jean and Rafi will use songs that encourage the plant growth. Students will also be engaged in learning about plants by using Play-Doh and arts and crafts. We'll also be able to have a picnic as students are encouraged to bring their own vegetables in so that we can make our own vegetable soup. Students will be introduced to the idea of plants through discovery education looking at the videos, plant parts and their uses, as well as science in a school garden. Students will be able to go to the Science Kids website, play an interactive game where they can help simulate the growth of a plant. Students will also be visiting Shepherd Software, where they can do paint and makes and matching games and seek and finds that have to deal with spring games and flowers. Students will also be able to go to Kidspiration, where they can develop their own thinking map and what they think plants need in order to survive. The class as a whole will be taking digital photos along the process and building a story of what they know using Photo Story 3. The teacher will use daily observations, informal anecdotes, as well as formal assessments to evaluate the student's progress. I hope you've enjoyed this video presented by me, Vicki Pisano. Thank you.